Welcome everybody again. My name is Sam Keenan. I'm representing our internal sales desk here for National Life. If you can, some of you I know have been on the call, but if you're just now joining us, please locate your chat box. If you can, find that for me. Go ahead and leave me your email address. So if you're just joining, find your chat box, leave me your email address. When we get done this webinar, I will be emailing out this slideshow that we're going to do now, as well as sending out some supplemental information that might fill in anything we're not able to cover today, all right? Because we are going to be covering a lot. It's kind of a broad topic today on why we should be selling permanent insurance instead of just term, all right? So we got a lot to cover today, guys. But real quickly, I see a lot of familiar names. Some of you guys are joining us for a new or for another webinar. Great to see you guys continue your education, but I also see a lot of new names, people I haven't talked to. Maybe you guys are not familiar with the sales desk, and maybe this is your first webinar with us. If you aren't, please remember that you can always call into our sales desk, talk to me or one of my associates. We're always putting on webinars, but we're also always here to talk. So remember, you can call into our sales desk. We are here to help you as you are new agents, and we're also really excited to have you guys as part of our team here. Congratulations on being contracted with us, and please utilize us. We are here because we want you to be successful. If you guys are successful, we are successful. So please remember, you can always call in. So if anything that I don't go over in this lecture that you guys feel like you need more information on, you can always call us. We will always be here, all right? All right, guys. As we're going to start today, just a little background information on me. I've been in sales 10 years. And so I've always been taught that you really need to know your product as you're getting into sales. That's the golden rule of sales. And so we have a lot of webinars that talk about our products, and I think they're really important. So most of our webinars go in depth on our products here at National Life, and I think it's really important. I had some mentors when I first graduated college as I got into sales, and that's what they always told me. Make sure you really know your product. And I think that is incredibly important. But that's not what we're here today about. We are just learning why you should sell permanent insurance. And I actually think, as I've been in sales longer, that is honestly more important. Not that I don't think understanding your products and knowing all your products is extremely important, right? It is extremely important, right? That way we can tailor products to what exactly our client needs. But understanding why we sell something and why we're in the business of something is quite different than understanding what we're in the business of, right? We are in the business, what our business is life insurance, right? But why are we in life insurance? And I believe with my whole heart, the reason why we are in life insurance is because we are trying to provide a financial stress-free life for our clients, or rid our clients of financial stress. And that is like an incredible gift we can offer our clients. And it seems almost impossible that you could do that with insurance. And I think if you had told me before I got into insurance that we could offer that with insurance, I would have told you you were crazy, right? In fact, I think there are three major problems affecting this country financially right now, and I think insurance is the market's answer to really all of them. And again, I would have thought you were crazy if you had told me that before I got into insurance. But I think by the end of this, you'll see what I mean, all right? So we're diving in today on why we should be selling permanent life insurance instead of term. All right, so when I before I got into insurance, all I thought of was life insurance as like a term life insurance. So we have term life insurance. We also have return of premium term, which sounds really cool. So you can pay your premium into term and get your premium back at the end of term. Now this is not something National Life offers. We don't offer return of premium because it's just not really a product we're into, and it's not a product I really like. I'm sure there's a purpose for it, but it's really only solving one need for a client, right? So term offers a death benefit. So if you pass away in that term while you have that 10-year term or 20-year term, your loved ones will get the death benefit. And so before I was in life insurance, that's all I thought of was with life insurance was a benefit to my beneficiaries, right? So if I needed peace of mind When I get married, I planned on getting a life insurance policy, so I know that if something happened to me and my income, I could leave something to my family and my wife and children, and that would be the only reason I would get a life insurance policy, right? Is to protect my clients with a death benefit, right? So we all know about that, and I think when most people think about life insurance, they think of that part of it. So when we think about life insurance, term and permanent life insurance answers that problem. They leave a death benefit, right? However, I think most people believe that clients want more than just a death benefit. And so that's now what new insurance and what insurance can provide for them, this new wave of thinking with IULs, a permanent form of life insurance, or fixed universal life. So indexed universal life or fixed universal life is a permanent life insurance that can do more than just provide a death benefit. All right. So if you get a permanent life insurance policy, it can actually accumulate cash. The upside is when the market does well, you're going to be accredited a certain amount of cash in your insurance policy. If the market did bad, a negative, you're actually not going to lose any money in your life insurance policy. So it has this upside potential of gaining money with downside protection of you're not going to lose money when the markets do bad, which equals cash accumulation. All right. What does that mean, though? What does cash accumulation mean in your life insurance policy? Well, if you have a permanent life insurance policy and it accumulates cash, when you get to retirement, you can take out money in the form of loans that can actually be tax-free income in your retirement. So you can take out loans on your permanent life insurance policy. They're not going to be taxed, and you can use them to supplement your retirement. And so this is helping with what I believe as a millennial is one of the biggest problems facing us. As a millennial, I don't think Social Security will be around for me. Now, some of you, I'm on the edge. I'm barely not a baby boomer, but I'm barely a millennial, and I just don't think Social Security will be there for me. Maybe it will be. That'll be great, but it causes me a lot of stress to know that I have to worry about this, that I don't think it will be there for me. So a life insurance policy can actually supplement that. So if it doesn't make it to me, I have an ability to save money in my life insurance policy. If I never pass away, all this money that I've put towards a life insurance policy doesn't just go away like term once it's up. If you have a permanent policy and when you get to 70, your children are grown up, out of the house, have their own families, you don't need to leave money to a beneficiary, you can then begin to access the cash that is accumulated and use it to supplement your retirement. We like to show a puzzle at National Life all the time, and it shows the different pieces to our life. So I think of the death benefit as one piece to our life. So having an insurance policy that protects our loved ones if something happens to us is an incredibly important piece to our life, something that term answers, right? But this is another piece to our life, supplementing our retirement. So what happens, having a death benefit protects us if we die too soon, but what happens if we live too long, right? We don't want to outlive our source of funds. So this answers that other piece to the puzzle. We're not going to outlive our income because actually with National Life, we have riders on our insurance policy that if you activate, you will have a guaranteed stream of income when you get to retirement. So you're not going to outlive your money if you invest in a life insurance policy the right way, right? Finally, another piece of the puzzle, and we're not going to cover it a lot right now, but I think it's really important with National Life. Something that National Life offers, and quite frankly, we're probably the industry leader. We just set the standard when it comes to these, is accelerated benefit riders. So what are accelerated benefit riders? I think this is protecting another piece of our life. So another piece to the puzzle is what happens, not if we die early or if we outlive our policy, but what happens if we become ill at some point in our life? What happens then? So a death benefit only protects us if we die, right? Well, our accelerated benefit riders on our permanent policies, as well as our terms here at National Life, but on our policies, will guarantee you that if you become ill, terminally ill, or critically ill, we will accelerate a portion of our death benefit. and you can use that however you like. So I think this is another big problem facing our country because we don't really know. We know the cost of healthcare is rising all the time, right? And we haven't really decided what we want to do with it. So I think this is another huge problem. And I don't know about you all, but it's the second biggest problem that I worry about is as the cost of healthcare goes up, how am I going to pay for that if something happens to me, right? Even having health insurance, when I no longer have income, how am I going to pay my bills, my mortgage, my car payment? What happens to those? Well, an insurance policy at National Life can actually cover you there. We will pay out a portion of the death benefit, and you can use it whatever way you want. We've even had clients here who have gotten cancer, and they've used their accelerated death benefit to pay for cancer treatment. And they've used, not just any cancer treatment, like highly experimental, extremely expensive cancer treatment. They've used their death benefit to pay for that, and then they've been able to beat cancer. So for me, before I got into insurance, that was a radical idea. I would not have believed life insurance could have done that, right? Life insurance was only supposed to pay out if you died. It wasn't something you could use to actually help yourself continue to live, right? It wasn't something that could save your life. It was only something that protected your loved ones when you passed away. So here's another piece of the puzzle and another problem I think that causes people financial stress that can be alleviated with life insurance. Now, this slide doesn't talk about it, but I like to mention it a lot because I think it's one aspect of insurance that people really overlook, but it opens another market in which we can sell life insurance policies too. Most people want to sell term because it seems like the easiest to sell because it has that death benefit, and that's when the thing that most people think about when they think about life insurance is just having that death benefit. But if you use permanent insurance, you can actually sell permanent insurance policies to children. And people don't realize, but if you invest into a child policy the right way, that child, when they get to college, can actually take out loans and use their loans to pay for their college. So like a college savings plan. And this policy doesn't go away. It stays with them for the rest of their life. They can continue to fund it after they get out of college. And then they'll have the protection of those living benefits we talked about. And then when they get to retirement, they'll also have the benefit of supplemental retirement income. So if a child starts a policy early enough, it can protect them in every facet of their life. And again, taking out money at the time of college. That's another big problem that, at least for me, causes me a lot of financial stress because I think about when I have kids, I see the rising costs of education in this country. And that's terrifying, right? I mean, right now it's like it could be $30,000 a semester, right? Well, life insurance, again, can help us there. It can help supplement us and provide extra money for college savings plans. So that's pretty incredible. So I know I said at the beginning we would talk about three things I think affecting this country, and I think the three things are knowing that we have money for retirement, trying to take care of health bills, and then the third thing, the rising cost of education, are just three big things that I stress a lot about. And then I found out when I got into insurance that insurance actually can help us with. So yeah, I was blown away on that. And if somebody had told me before I got an insurance that an insurance policy could have been used that way, I probably wouldn't have believed them. It would almost sound too good to be true, but we can use it that way. Before we go too far, though, I do want to just bring it back a little bit because I do think term can be used and there is a purpose for term. So we know that permanent insurance is better, in my opinion, if you can afford it because it can protect us in each facet of our life, all those facets we just talked about. But there is a reality, and that is some people can't always afford permanent insurance. It is more expensive than term, right? So sometimes we need term. But another cool thing that National Life offers is if you get a term policy with us, at the time, let's say you're just married, you want to protect your family, you need that death benefit, you don't have the money at the time. Well, you can start out with that term policy, and then National Life allows you to convert it and taking your rate class over into a permanent policy. So if you want to start out in a term policy just because you need the protection and you don't have quite the finances to start a permanent policy, you can do that. And then, say 5 years down the road, you would be allowed to convert over into a permanent policy. All right. So because we recognize we want to protect our clients, right? And we want them to get the permanent policy because we think it ties together those puzzles of a person's life better. But again, we understand not everybody's at that ability right now. So we want to give our clients that ability. So we offer that. And then we also offer fixed universal lives in which they could essentially get back their premium. So if somebody's ever just dead set on getting a term product that has return of premium, we have a product that can run that way. It is a fixed universal life, and you can set it up as we're looking here at the slide. It would be our LSW Foundations would be the product, and we can structure it in a way that they can pay a set amount of premiums for a given period of time. And when they get to the end of that policy, they would have enough money that they could get back everything that they put into the policy. The cool thing about the way our product is structured is if you got a term that was return of premium with another company, at the end of your term, your policy would be gone. So let's kind of look at an example here. All right, so say Jack dies with a permanent policy, he gets the proceeds, right? But at the end, he has no choice. If he doesn't die at the end of his term coverage, he has no choice but to recover all the premiums, right? The coverage ends, and he may not qualify at that time for a new plan. Like he might have developed health issues to which he can't qualify for a new plan. All right. I think at the end it says includes living benefits. That's not a guarantee. Not all other carriers have living benefits. So I think this slide is being generous when it mentions that, because again, that's something that really not necessarily unique to National Life, but we are at the forefront of. We are always setting the standard, I believe, in our living benefits. I don't think anybody would argue with me when I say we have more triggers and more reasons we will pay out our accelerated benefits than any other company, all right? Some people are competitive with us, but I don't think anybody is better than us, all right? If you look, though, what we're talking about is how our permanent policy, our permanent kind of return of your premium policy is a little bit different than other people's term return of premium. If you use our product, at the end, our client has the choice. If they want to recover all their premiums and stop coverage, they're completely able to do that. But if they don't want to, say they know they wouldn't qualify for another insurance plan, they can just keep their premiums in there and keep the coverage with us, right? So our policy is actually a little more flexible, right? You don't have to, when you get to the end of that term coverage, you don't have to just leave it. You don't just lose it. With us, it's your choice. So it's in the client's hands. So that's something that's really unique to us, I believe, and pretty awesome. So what we talked about and what I think is unique to us is we offer that flexibility, that choice. If you want to keep the policy and keep it alive instead of it just going away, because again, you might not qualify for coverage somewhere else. I think our living benefits are incredible. As I told you, we are really the industry leader in living benefits. Again, we're setting the standard, and I think that's an incredibly important piece to the puzzle of what we offer. And then we touched on it again, and just want to mention it again as our lifetime income. So when we talked about retiring and not having enough money, we have a lifetime, guaranteed lifetime benefit rider. So if you have a permanent policy with us and you haven't used your death benefit, you've gotten to the end of your life, you no longer need as much death benefit because your children are grown, they're out of the house, you can tap into your insurance policy and be guaranteed income for the rest of your life until the day you die, if you want to elect to use that on your policy. So pretty awesome. So what does this mean to you? So what we just talked about are ways to create new opportunities and new sales for you. When we talked about the flexibility of our product, how it's in the client's hands if they want to choose to continue with it, or if they would like to just take their premiums out, they have it. But the important thing is to have that choice. But we talked about also why a permanent policy can create more opportunities. For instance, like a child policy. Nobody would ever want to have a term policy really on their child. No, I shouldn't say never. There might be cases where you get like a child term rider on, so you have some coverage for your children. But in general, no one would get like a term policy on a child. But if you wanted to save for college and you wanted your child to have living benefits and maybe retirement money, you would open a permanent policy like I was talking about. So you can get your child way ahead of his future if you open one of these policies. Again, we're creating new referrals for you. If you have a parent, you would also have the child policy. You could also try to sell their children insurance policies. And again, we're demonstrating value. What it means for your clients is it's providing a great solution. As I said, we looked at different options. We have the term conversion, the return of premium if they wanted, and then we have more permanent options for them. And we're running out of time here. I have some people raising their hands. So if you want to go ahead, if you have any questions for me, please place them in the chat box. I know we're going to have a lot of product questions. If you can, let's stay away from those. We have a lot of webinars in which we will go over the exact product if you want to join those. But maybe questions about how we're using life insurance, okay? All right, I see somebody keeps raising their hands, but they're not. You've got to type for me in your chat box your question. So if you've got a question, please feel free, go ahead and type it again. We're coming near the end of our time, just a couple minutes here. So if you want to get in a question, please feel free to. But again, we're running out of time. So if you have questions and you don't feel like I got to them, please, guys, please feel free to call our sales desk all the time. You'll talk to me or one of my counterparts here. Please utilize us. We really want to be here for you. There's going to be questions. There's always going to be questions, and we want to make sure you have not only these webinars where we go over it in general, but we want to give you that individual attention. So if you want to talk about certain things, or maybe go over how we structure these deals in the illustration software, please call in. Please, we'll walk it through step by step and make it, as simple as possible for you guys. All right, great. We just got a question here. So somebody asked if you were using it as a college saving plan, would you pay premiums 18 to 20, I'm assuming, while the child is in college? No, you do not have to pay premiums with certain products with an IUL. We can structure it in a way that you don't have to pay premiums for those years, because obviously you don't want to have to be putting in premiums while you're taking out money to pay for college. That would kind of defeat the purpose, right? So we set it up so they won't have to worry about that. So with a lot of our IUL products, they do not have to pay premiums while they're in college. So that's a great question, Gary. We have come to the end of our time. I don't see any more questions coming up. For those of you still with questions, I see some hands raised, but I've never got any more questions in the chat box. So please feel free to call in if you have more questions. We are always here. So please utilize our sales desk. We want to be here for you guys. All right. Well, thank you guys. Look forward to next time.